Just Beachy with Deb
and Wendy.
Growing up in the 70s in our Toronto Beach neighborhood was a time unlike any other. Bell-bottom pants, high handlebars and banana seats, water buffalo sandals, crazy adventures, and home with the streetlights. We have lots of stories to share.
So sit back and join Deb and I while we reminisce about the people and times that shaped our lives. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Wendy.
How's it going?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
This is weird.
I just want to wish you a happy National Sisters Day.
It is. Happy National Sister Day for you, too.
As your younger sister, I thought I'd get it in first. Anyways, I just wanted to say that.
She just likes to clarify that I'm the older one.
Well, yes. Always.
Always.
I just want to welcome everybody for listening today. We're very excited about this. This is our first ever podcast.
Yep.
Deb's a pro at this. She has other ones out there, but this is my very first one. So.
It's really good to do it with her.
Yeah.
This is good.
It's very exciting.
I like this.
So I just thought to start off, I'd let you know a little bit about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've been married for 42 years. I have 4 adult children. I have 1 granddaughter. And like I said before, this is like my inaugural podcast into social media. So,
we should have a confetti cannon here,
Actually, I have one in my car. I didn't know if I should bring it in or not.
Oh, you should have.
I should have. Anyway.
You could pop a champagne bottle, too. I've got several of those.
Well, I did bring it to beer.
Oh, there we go. Which is really good beer. I like this beer.
Cowbell.
Cowbell. Little plug.
Little plug out there.
It's a mimosa. It's not just beer. It's got orange juice in it.
So it's good for you.
Getting our vitamin C. Yes. But we digress.
Yes, we do. As always.
Well, I'm Deb. And I live in Niagara-on-the-Lake, the most beautiful place on the planet, especially now in peach season. It's really pretty here. And I wave at Toronto every morning because it's right across the lake. I have 2 great sons. They are grown. They still live with me. I never want to let them go. And I'm clergy. I love music, and I love podcasting, and I collect ukuleles.
She does. I'm sitting in the room with how many around us?
Well, there's four in here, but this is just one room.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot.
Ask me if I play the ukulele.
Do you play the ukulele?
Not well, but I hope to master it soon. I've got lots of practice.
So, we were kind of unsure on how to begin all this because we don't want to start just where we grew up. We thought we should, kind of delve into a little bit where we came from before we hit Scarborough Road and the beach.
That's true. There was life before the beach.
There was life before the beach.
Only not much life for you because you were little.
I was. And I don't remember much in the younger years, but...
I don't either. If you're relying on me to remember things back then, I might have to conjure up some images. But we love... Growing up on the beach was great. Before we finally got to our house on Scarborough Road, we had lived with our grandparents who rescued us. They bought a house at Coxwell and Danforth area in the 60s, 1960. And back then, that big monster house was like 10 grand or something. It was...
I think it was like $7,500.
It was not much at all.
No.
In the 2000s, when Gran went into the nursing home, we thought we made a big deal, and now it's worth over $3 million. We did not get that kind of money. But, they had to upgrade and things. But beautiful house. But for 6 people living upstairs, as Mom and Dad kept having kids, and we were not the quietest children on the planet.
Picture the upstairs with linoleum on the floor and at least 6 feet running back and forth down the hallway because our younger brother would have been too small at that point to do any of that. But yeah, we were tight up there.
We were a handful too. Our grandfather had to make himself a room in the basement and to lock himself away from the noise of his grandkids, I'm sure. He worked hard. He came home, and so he constructed the little room it was called.
That's right.
And he had a bed, so he could have a nap and a quiet time, and God knows what else, And he always had a case of Orange Crush, some sort of orange pop. So that was everything he didn't want us to get our hands on went into the little room. We were bad.
No, but remember the kitchen? He had a false bottom on the bottom drawers of the wall cabinet that he kept cases of pop in. So if you pulled out those drawers, there were cases of pop that he hid underneath there.
I had no idea.
And his willow pack of chocolates up in the other part of the cupboard.
Grampy was an entrepreneur, in his day. He came from down east. He was a manager in a Dominion store in Halifax and around the South Shore of Nova Scotia. And when he came to Toronto, I think he saw the mother lode. He would take us down to this import place before it became really, really international. Now it's international. And he would bring home like the dogs with the bobbleheads or calculators or little transistor radios. And he would make a profit. He'd take them to work and sell them. He always had pens for sale. And he just saw an opportunity and went with it.
Yep.
I think some of us have inherited his vision of seeing there's an idea, I like that, and how can I use that? Very clever man.
And as much as we drove him crazy, we were so loved, and it was amazing.
Oh, he adored us.
Yeah.
And Graham she was like a second mother. She was there, thick and thin, always. Yep. There's some Grahamisms. We will go into those in later podcasts, but she was like the light, and so fierce and just absolutely would get between us and a bullet without a thought. She was very protective.
Yeah, and talking about, in our intro, we talked about people shaping our lives. They both definitely did, and they were our mother's parents.
Mm-hmm.
Our dad, he passed away when we way back in '71 when we ranged in ages 15 to 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so Grampy and Grammy, they were,
they stepped in.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So we will talk about them in future because it would be wrong not to.
Well, they're so much a part of the fabric of our growing up.
Yeah,
they were always there.
Yeah.
They made Christmas like Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
And, just the two of them together. They did not get along individually very well as a couple, but they certainly doted on us. I think we kept them together, actually.
Probably.
You heard that here first. But yeah, so we grew up in Coxwell Danforth area, and we outgrew the house, and I think tensions were getting a little bit high between the downstairs group and the upstairs group. And so we moved into this interesting house on Scarborough Road, which was actually 3 houses together, and we lived on the end unit. And I remember the first day that we moved in, we went downstairs and the 4 kids went wild. Well, I guess 3, Joe was kind of little. But we just went crazy. And I remember my mother going to stop us because that was kind of the rule at Graham's place. They're making too much noise. And Dad said, just let them go. Let them just blow up. It's their house. This is our house now. And that was like, one of those moments etched in my brain because it was independence.
Yeah.
Not that, the other situation wasn't terrible at all. It was great. Had a great childhood. But the fact that they were able to provide now was a really wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And tell them what happened to you the first day.
Well, the very first day we moved into that house, I remember when I swallowed 5 pennies that a neighbor from my grandmother's street gave me, Mrs. Williams, and as my, going away. And I remember sitting on the foot of the stairs going up to the house and playing with them in my mouth and then swallowing them.
How old were you?
5.
5.
And then I think immediately throwing back up the pennies. And my dad and my grandfather, they had to crawl underneath the house, underneath the stairs, searching through the dirt underneath to make sure that they retrieved all 5 pennies back.
Otherwise, it would have been a trip to the emergency department.
And I guess they did, because I don't remember going to the hospital that day. So
I think you threw them all
we were good. I think we were good.
5-year-old tummy. You couldn't digest them, so yeah. We can digest a lot of things when we're little, but that wasn't one of them.
I can still taste the copper now as we speak of this today.
It might have brought other concerns, but...
Oh, man.
How many diseases can you get off a penny?
Yeah. Oh.
For 5.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, that was a welcome to Our new house, Wendy.
Yep. I don't remember much else of that day, but I do remember the neighborhood, which I know, and we'll talk about in get a little more involved as time goes on. But back then, growing up, it's, I think, so different to what kids experience now in neighborhoods. Now neighbors have at least in Guelph where I lived in a neighborhood, it's like the high fences, right? All the wood fences. It's not the chain link that we grew up with, where you could see everybody in their backyards and everyone talked to each other. And
whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah. And shared food over a fence.
That's true.
Or drinks.
Yeah.
And, it was a time that neighbors would just come walking in to your house without having to knock or that, and they were welcome to.
Yeah, they never knocked.
No.
Hi!
Eileen! And our mom never had to worry about where we were because there was always a watchful eye on all the neighborhood kids.
That's right.
Because we all played together.
So
right?
many kids on that street.
Maybe one or two we didn't, but we won't talk about them.
No, maybe another podcast, but not. But we're keeping it light today. This is our inaugural one. We want it to be bright and light.
Yeah.
But we really did connect with some really wonderful people.
Yes.
And when I think back, and you talk about a neighborhood, even here, Niagara on the Lake, I don't know really the people that live around me. In other places, Lindsay, I did. It was a small, but it was like growing up in a small community.
Mm-hmm.
You get on the streetcar, and it felt like you were going off to some distant land. A half an hour later, you were in like Toronto.
Yeah.
But the beach was very much a small working class community when we were growing up. There was, we called the Nouveau Beach, the yuppies and the people that have kind of gentrified it. But when we grew up, it was hardworking people with, their sleeves up, and we had a street full of characters.
Big time.
Yeah. And everybody was very, very kind to us.
They were.
Considering we were kids.
Yeah.
But they did.
But you knew, like, the neighbors, like 10 doors to the left, 10 doors to the right, across the street. Like, you knew everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And one that everybody was welcome. And, in the neighborhood kids, like I said before, we all played together.
Yeah.
We were like a gang of kids, We would go to the
Scarborough Street gang.
Yeah. Exhibition time's coming up soon, and her mom would give us each $5. And she wouldn't come with us.
No.
We'd go with all the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, we were like 12.
Yeah, Deb would have been the oldest.
Yeah.
And, we would TTC it down there, and we'd come back even sometimes with
change.
Mm-hmm. Because the schools back then, in your report card, you'd get a ticket into the exhibition.
That's right, free entry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and I can't believe we did that.
I know. Well, the streetcar would take us virtually. We had to transfer at Broadview, and that would take us right into the grounds.
Into the X.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a different time. I mean, I'm sure that 6 and 7-year-olds came with us to the X that day.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
And I maybe would have been that age.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was 12.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you are my older sister.
I am. By 6 years. Which, as time goes on, seems like a bigger gap.
I was going to say it's a little closer on my end. But...
See, it's all the perspective of where you are on the age chart. For me, I'm up here.
Yeah. I'm over that hump.
You're climbing.
I'm climbing. Still below that, middle 60 number, but getting a little closer all the time.
Middle 60, wow.
Yeah. Right?
Even our little brother's about to enter his 60th year.
When did we get this old?
I don't know.
I don't feel old, though.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think, when I think of the people that lived on our street back in the 70s, even if they were 40, they looked old. They looked so much different.
They did.
They dressed, the housewife with the sundress on, and it was a whole different time.
The tonied hair.
Curlers, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you were talking about grandparents, our grandparents were pretty with it, considering.
Yeah.
Because Grandma's young. She was 45 when I was born. Excuse me. And she kept up with us pretty well.
Yeah,
even into her 80s. We're flying to Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going. And she paid the way, too, which was very nice.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. For people, for someone that was our age back then, yeah, they looked so much older. And I think it had a lot to do, like, I don't think Mom owned a pair of jeans until she was, like, in her 50s.
Yeah.
She never wore jeans. And then even when she did wear them, she didn't like them.
And what did she wear?
Yeah, pull-on polyester pants.
Yeah, like emerald green. And she had some orange with her red hair. I mean, that was the era of the pantsuit.
Yes, polyester.
And and all those bright colors, the neon orange, and because it was the 70s, man. It was psychedelic time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No colors were off limits.
No.
When I think of the Afghans that she crocheted for our bed and the colors, I mean, beautiful crocheting, but the colors were a little out there.
She would knit me sweaters. I had a purple number that was variegated purples, and God bless her. I mean, she did with love, but the neck on it was supposed to be a turtleneck. I wore it when I visited, but because I knew she wanted to make me something nice.
Yeah.
But she was much better with slippers.
yeah, for sure. I don't know, maybe she was colorblind. I'm not sure. But, man, she could crochet and she could knit, and we'll never take that away from her, that's for sure.
Well, no, there was one Christmas after Dad died when she got Christmas money by making... She must have made 100 pairs of slippers.
Oh, I think it was like 500 pairs of slipper orders.
Wow.
And it was those ones, if you can think of them, or you can visualize the 5 rows of one color, the 5 rows of a different color, and it was the not a soft knit slipper, but stretchy polyester.
Yeah.
With the pom pom. I was the official pom pom maker.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time making
Christmas,
pom-poms.
she had baggies of slippers of orders that she had taken in, and I think she only sold them for $5 a pair. But man, they were everywhere. You couldn't even sit down on the couch because of all the bags of slippers.
We had some neighbors who were her salespeople.
Yeah.
And they'd go to work and they'd say, and I guess they kind of tugged on the sympathy vote, she's a widow with 4 kids. And
yeah.
This is what she's doing. And the price was, even back then, that was cheap.
Yeah, and man, she whipped those up.
She was good.
Yeah, she was really good at that.
Yep. It means she didn't get bursitis or something.
I know, or arthritis.
Arthritis.
My gosh.
Later on, I don't think she did either.
No.
I know people who make fudge and stuff. After a while, it wears out the elbow joint. But she did well. She did really well.
She could knit well.
And she would give us. Christmas was the time, right? Yeah. Christmas was the most important time of the year. And Grandma and Grampy, it was like we got showered every year. We got showered with stuff. Anything we wanted, it was under the tree.
And then after Dad died, neighbors pitched into, and that will be a whole other podcast, because we had lovely, lovely neighbors.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Yeah, we have so much to talk about, and we probably strayed a little bit from where we were going to go today, but...
Yeah, we're up at the 18-minute mark now.
But we have so much to say, and...
Damn it, we're going to say it!
And maybe, we want to be lighthearted, but there's going to be some stories that may make you go, OMG, along the way that we experienced growing up too. But I feel if any street in the beach was going to have these stories, it was Scarborough Road.
Oh, yeah.
Because we saw it, we lived it.
We lived it.
Whether we wanted to or not. But yeah. But this has been a lot of fun today. And
I've enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah.
We weren't really sure if we should script it or just talk off the cuff, and I think we've stuck pretty close.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm looking at my notes. I don't think we left anything out.
Yeah, I mean, we could keep talking, but I don't want to take away from future podcasts.
Well, that's true. We might. Yeah, we got to be careful.
I think
you have to keep track of what we're saying too.
Yeah, exactly. Like episode 1. Yeah. You don't want to repeat ourselves. You may hear about Christmas again because that is what brought us our ultimate joy growing up, and we carry on those traditions to this day. And even my kids, they come to expect.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, even though they're all adults, Christmas is still Christmas, and it has to be a certain way, which I'll never take away.
No.
Maybe I'll have to start crocheting slippers this year.
Hey, there you go.
Sure.
I know somebody that does wool. Get you a deal. So we're going to keep it to 20 minutes, but in coming episodes, you might find that there's a special guest to speak about things, people and times.
We may throw in a song now and then, because back in the day, Deb and I We used to love to sing together.
We sure did. It's been a while. I
Yeah.
might have to learn to play the ukulele.
We may have to do some practicing too.
Oh, yeah. Definitely that. Oh, dear.
But I hope you enjoyed what we had to say today, and that you look forward to coming back and listening to us again next week.
Oh, yeah, we're trying for weekly.
Yeah.
We're trying for weekly. And on National Sisters Day, it seemed to be the right time to launch.
Exactly.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being my sister.
Thank you for being my sister. And
And
out there, anybody who is a sister to somebody, wish them a happy Sister Day.
National Sister.
National, not international, national.
National Sister.
Yeah.
Although there is an international, but that was back in April, so.
Well, we missed that.
I wonder if there's a local Sister Day. I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
anyways.
There's a street Sister Day.
Anyways, well, this is Wendy. Thanking you once again for listening in.
And Deb, we hope that you will join us next time on Just Peachy.
And remember when.